Well, here's an idea. When we need a new theme song, instead of Audio Boy having to suffer through it, you use the ukulele and you do our new theme song for season 3.
Okay, deal. 100%. I'm in.
Okay, right here, right now, you're agreeing that you will do the theme song for season 3.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah.
With no help from Audio Boy whatsoever.
Don't need it. It's going to be me playing 4 chords on the ukulele, singing about how much of a cock you are. Don't need him.
Can you give us a preview?
It's pretty much what I did, to be honest.
I'm going to practice. But I'll come back next week.
You called all of us, like, what is it again? Like, they have no lives or something you say about us?
Our lives are dull.
Our lives are dull.
Why don't we play it and find out?
Hit the theme song.
It's meandering movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Meandering Movie Podcast, where we like to talk about movies, actors, celebrities, sometimes TV, sometimes video games. Bit of a mixed bag, but mostly we talk about films. We've been engaging in positive chatter recently, and we've not been shitting all over each other, which has been quite nice. And following that tradition, I think we're going to try and keep this up by talking about our favourite actors this week, and going into that, their favorite kind of, like, the movies that we love them in, the movies that we think they're astounding. But before we get into it, I, as always, am your host, your producer, Gary Copeland.
I am the sippy cup of treasures and delights, Gavin Stewart.
Ryan.
And quietly engaging, usually doesn't say much.
Hello.
It's Audio Boy. So there we go, guys. I mean, just for background, I'm sure you guys know the drill by now. I busted out my list 5 minutes before we started recording. Gavin came up with this 6 months ago and has been curating it specifically and carefully for the last 6 months. And Ryan was a bit of a middle ground. I think you gave yours a bit more thought than 5 minutes.
Yesterday / this morning.
But not much more, yeah.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, a peek behind the curtain is before we started recording, Gary was sitting there like, I can't think of 5 actors, I don't have 5 actors. Meanwhile, building this list over 6 months, I have 16 actors, and I've had to, like... 16, yeah, so... But don't worry, I've cut it down to 5. I'm not.
And you better just do 5. Don't do that thing you did before where you're like, well, I'm just going to say 25. Like, don't do that.
I'm going to add 16 more at the end.
You're not in 16.
I don't sound like that. That's a terrible impression of me.
No, you don't say that on your head, but out loud you sound really like it.
No, it's not like this. You got to be really... Hi, my name's Gavin. I'm dead nasally. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, I'm so red.
Hi, I'm Gavin. I'm red nasally, and I like alcohol.
So another peek behind the curtain for the audience. Soon, none of these voices you'll get to hear, because I'm going to kill them all. Because even during these terrible times, they still pick on me. I think I broke my pen.
Good.
Oh, no, I fixed my pen.
Can you stop clicking the pen into the microphone, please?
That's a good idea, actually. I'm going to stop clicking the pen into the microphone.
Who would like to go first?
Gavin.
I want Ryan to go. Oh, fuck.
So fire in, Ryan. Let's get cracking with your actor numero uno.
It was quite hard to pick between my 2 lists. I've got a list curated for people who I genuinely respect and who I like their work, and I've got a list that'll just annoy Gavin. I've got a list of just people that I know Gavin doesn't like.
All the actors from Booksmart. That's that list.
Exactly. So I'm going to start off with I think a pretty broad one. I'm going to start with this one because I'm sure that someone else might have it, and I just want to get it out of the way because usually I go last and get humped out of things I want to say.
This is true. Gary took Ex Machina and Ghost Story from you.
Yeah, I did. I apologise.
And sometimes I think a lot of mine are only in very specific periods of their career. I don't have any actors who I've enjoyed throughout. I'm sure that's pretty across the board.
Okay, I get you. I wouldn't agree with that on my list, but no, one of them I would. One of them 100%. The other 4 I'm quite happy with.
In fact, I've got one that I'm really happy with. 2.
You're really just drawing this out and not just saying a fucking name, aren't you?
Whose name?
Say any name. Just say a name.
I've added things to the top, so when I showed you the book, they're just things to annoy you.
Okay, you're a piece of shit.
So my first one I'm going to go with is Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Because but only
The
in the last
Reconnaissance?
decade, only from 2011 onwards.
Yeah, because before that he was just playing the kind of generic Hollywood
Yeah,
beach-bodied,
It
attractive
was
man.
weird. And then he did The Lincoln Lawyer, which came out of nowhere,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he was so good. Like, he started off that really intense, kind of really great method acting, that kind of troubled guy thing that he does quite a lot, to be fair, but he's really good at it, so I don't care.
Yeah.
It was a time that became the reconnaissance, or and that's not my thing. That's someone else coined that term,
fuck
the reconnaissance.
off, Gavin.
But it was like The Lincoln Lawyer, True Detective, Wolf of Wall Street, Mud,
Interstellar.
Dallas Buyers Club, like all Interstellar, like all these movies that just kind of like took him from, like you both described, kind of like just douchey surfer guy who
Yeah.
kind of hid in the background,
Well,
to
you
like
think-
he was a mainstay actor.
Before that, we had things like The Rain of Fire, Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, Wedding
Sahara.
Planner.
Fucking, I mean, I can shit on Sahara, but
Sahara.
Rain of Fire is a fucking movie of movies.
It's
Fucking
alright. It's not great.
Gerard Butler, Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey. It's fucking baller. I love that movie.
He also did a voice in Kubo and the Two Strings, which is rockets him up.
Such a great movie.
Yeah, so I thought, and I love him in True Detective. True Detective season 1 is my favorite thing ever.
Yeah, he did really turn around because as we've just listed, he did a bunch of garbage for the kind of first half of his career, and then has just I don't know, matured as an actor. Is that what you can say? And he's
Yeah, or
kind of
just
started.
stopped getting upset. I think maybe like
caring.
there must be a huge obsession with just money. See, if
Yeah.
you come from a background that's not like loads of money, and people just are just throwing millions at you for what is essentially shit, which is what he did. And then you get to the stage where you've probably got quite a lot of money, and you're like, I could make things I actually give a shit about now
I
instead.
could start doing some passion projects.
Yeah, and you're
I
like,
feel like with the movie Sahara, that's where things took a turn for him, because that was a movie that he personally kind of like pushed and helped produce and all this kind of stuff, and it was going to become like what they wanted to be the next big kind of Indiana Jones like action franchise. And
Following
then
on the tales of the Mummy.
Yeah. And the movie fucking tanked financially and critically, and the production company that helped fund that movie had to shut its doors because it lost so much money trying to make that movie. So he had to I think
Fair.
that was maybe a turning point for him, where it's just like, I'm going to like back off for a wee while and like reconsider my options.
Yeah.
And thankfully he came back with movies like Mud and TV shows like True Detective, and those just completely changed his direction. And now when you talk about Matthew McConaughey, like we are doing,
Matthew
you talk,
McConaughey.
positively. Because I feel like maybe 10, 15 years ago, I'm just steaming right through whatever you just did there. 10, 15 years ago, people probably, if you mentioned the name Matthew McConaughey, wouldn't have talked as positively as we are now talking.
McConaughey. It's like a party chant. Matthew McConaughey. Matthew
feel like-
McConaughey.
you can't give Gav a hard time for reconnaissance, and you started chanting that.
So there you go. Matthew McConaughey is a good one. Gav, do you want to fire in with number one on your list?
Yes.
Are yours in an order, Gav, or you've just kind of done yours?
I just wrote names down.
Yeah, mine's not in the order I wrote them in.
Yeah, cool.
I just got McConaughey out
mine's
of the
in-
way because I thought less people would say it.
I am going to start with a big name. I'm going to start with a big name just to get this big name out of the way, just in case anyone else has it. And it's a name of an actor we all know and love, and it's Tom Hanks.
Oh, that's surprising. I definitely thought you were going to be putting very niche French actors 1 to 5.
None of these actors are actors you've never heard of. You've
That's-
all heard of all of these actors.
That's incredible.
We'll see.
Oh, you know.
Who's Tom Hanks?
So yeah, I think like Tom Hanks is one of those actors who, when you think of like movie stars, like if you go back to like the old classic movie stars of like
Yeah.
your Humphrey Bogarts and stuff like that, like I think Tom Hanks is our version of that today. He's one of those actors who's been around for so long. He's run the gambit of movies. He started off as just like a slapstick comedy kind of guy, like movies like Big and stuff like that.
The
And he kind
Burbs.
The Burbs, and then he kind of transitioned more into this kind of dramatic actor, and now he's kind of got this beautiful balance of like he can go anywhere and kind of take on any role, and you always know you're going to get something great from Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And he's just a genuinely lovely man. And I just love Tom Hanks, and anytime I get a chance to see Tom Hanks in a movie, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I get what you mean with that as well. He definitely grew up in the kind of era of classic cinema, so he would have grown up watching things that, you know, we're not what we've grown up with whatsoever. Obviously, that's just his age. But you can tell that he's come from a place where he wanted to be an actor, not just like the beginning of Matthew McConaughey's career, where he wanted to just make some cash.
Yeah.
He was in it for, you know, you could tell he was kind of in it for the craft, if you will. And then over the years, he's just perfected that craft. And he's so heartfelt and just a genuinely good actor. It's amazing watching him kind of jump from role to role as well. I think my only complaint with Tom Hanks is that he's not one for kind of lightheartedness. Like if you're watching a Tom Hanks film, especially more recently, or like maybe not lightheartedness, I mean more kind of like bit roles. Like you don't see Tom Hanks in anything unless it's a Tom Hanks movie. You know?
Yeah, he's pretty one dimensional. I think he can get a little samey sometimes. And he's definitely, as he got older, built himself a role, like built himself a box that he's now stuck in. And I feel like he is too old and doesn't really give a shit to come out of that box. He's like, I'm making money in the box, why the fuck would I leave?
Like the Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood, which has just come out, is a phenomenal movie, and he is great in it. But I get what Ryan's saying there, in that is the epitome of that kind of Tom Hanks-esque older generation role. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost engineered for that role. Like Tom Hanks was almost, or that role was almost engineered for exclusively Tom Hanks. Not that that's a bad thing, but
I think a lot of actors of that generation have kind of done that to themselves a little bit. Just put themselves in a place where they're never going to get to. They're just typecast now for everything.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like it's a double-edged sword of just like they've put themselves there, and also studios now won't let them get out of there.
Yeah.
It's like we want you there because you can do this, and you've proven you can do it. So let's make you do it. And like, I guess it's kind of like they still get to do the work they love. And I mean, Tom Hanks clearly cared a lot about what was the movie you just said that I forgot the name of already?
Wonderful Day in the
That thing
Neighborhood.
you do.
Yeah, Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood. Would you stop going on about that thing you do? We'll talk about it in a second. You're obsessed. Yeah, like A Wonderful Day in the Neighborhood is like clearly a movie that he was very passionate about, probably because he knew Fred Rogers in some way, and Tom Hanks really just shows his love for that. But another reason I love Tom Hanks is if you just look at Tom Hanks's filmography, it's so varied.
Yeah.
Of like you can go from something like Saving Private Ryan, which is like this intense, gritty, one of the best World War II movies of all time, or you could just look over there and say, oh, you've got the Toy Story franchise, one of the most beloved kids movies of all time.
Yeah.
But even as Woody, he's still the same person.
Still Tom Hanks.
Like he's still a sort of Tom Hanks stick up his arse kind of guy. Even as a toy cowboy. Do you know what I mean? Like he has that kind of, he's stuck in that role.
Yeah. I get it. I get where you're coming from.
And now if we cut over to Audio Boy, who is now obsessed to talk about that thing you do, go Audio Boy.
I mean, I feel like he plays a bit of a different role in that one. I don't know. He's less of a part in the film, mainly because he's directing it. But he's a smaller part in it.
That thing you do.
And it's the greatest music biopic of all time, in my opinion.
What's who's it about?
Even though it's not about a real band.
Classic.
That
was probably why it's the best one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring us around with the final. So I'm going to start big as well. I think I'm going to go with the biggest name I've got on my list. And I'm sure you'll probably both agree with this one. And this is although he kind of falls into the same problem that Tom Hanks definitely did. I feel like this person tried to break out of that on a couple of occasions. Before their untimely death. But Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Robin Williams was, at the beginning of his career, pure comedy. He had that energy about him, and everything he did, they injected that, and they told him, look, just go nuts. I think Robin Williams probably got carte blanche with pretty much every role he got. They just said to him, do your thing, we trust you on this.
Yeah, you're here because you're you.
Yeah, exactly. Like 90% of the time, you got exactly what you expected, Robin Williams. The genie is literally Robin Williams on a big blue fucking cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's nothing else there. But what I loved about Robin Williams is later on in his career, he really tried to come out of that. So he did things like Bicentennial Man. He did 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah.
You know, he tried these really pushing roles.
Good Will Hunting and stuff as well. He's amazing in that.
Good Will Hunting, yeah. Throughout the years, he's really done these.
Just Dead Poet Society is the movie where, like, I knew Robin Williams as, you say, the genie and stuff like that. That's or from his stand-up. And then I remember watching Dead Poet Society, and that was the first movie that I watched where Robin Williams was in a dramatic role, and I was just like, who the fuck is this man?
How can he be so good at it?
Where did Robin Williams go? And just like,
he's one of those actors that in a family, so in like your niche family of young kids, mum and dad, everyone in this whole family is going to have a film with Robin Williams in it that fits into their age category.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So there's like young kids can be watching Aladdin, some older kids can be watching maybe Miss Doubtfire, films like Jack, and then he goes right older to like Dead Poets, which is like late, maybe for late teens, early 20s, and he's got older stuff like Good Will Hunting and things like that.
One Stop Photo.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was so talented, and it was wild just watching him come out, and every single time he brought a new movie out, it was either getting classic Robin Williams, which everyone knew and loved, or him trying something new, which was just great. You know, you don't get a lot of actors that do that, and it was like he was pushing back against the typecast, like you were saying, Ryan. He really didn't want to he didn't want to fall into the, hey, Robin Williams, we've got a wacky character in this new Adam Sandler movie. He'd be like, no, I'm cool. I'm gonna do a psycho killer who works at a fucking photo shop, like, and falls in love with a family. If you think about it, like, the movie Aladdin kind of set that kind of tone for a lot of Disney movies, where it's like, oh, we're going to have your main guy, and then we're going to have the comedic sidekick. The wacky sidekick. Eddie Murphy in Mulan.
Yeah, I was
Danny DeVito in Hercules.
So Robin Williams could have easily just done that role for the rest of his career. He's like, just come along, be the wacky, funny sidekick, say some funny improv lines, and then by the end of the movie, disappear because the hero needs to have his hero moment.
Yeah, because he was a comedian as well. Like, that was his job.
Improv comedian back in the day.
But I think the reason, or why I feel one of the reasons that Robin Williams works so well in that kind of such a broad range of movies is his style of comedy was so genuine, where it was him just giving like such a genuine kind of wonderful example of himself. He brought that into his roles as well. It's
the same thing that you said about Tom Hanks. Robin Williams cared. Like, Robin Williams, and I think probably a majority of these actors we're all going to list here do give they give a crap, I'd say. I think on my front anyway.
Wait, I've got Bruce Willis as well.
But yeah, no, it's just one of these. He was just phenomenal. He kind of unfortunately took his own life far before he should have done, and really deserved to be here a lot longer. But I just want to commemorate the man. He was phenomenal. Yeah, that's my numero uno. So do you want to go, Ryan? Do you want to go next?
Yeah, let's do it.
Flip us in.
I've got another actor that kind of fits into what you guys were talking about, from a sort of older generation still acting today, but I don't think he in any way fits into that bubble of playing the same person. It's one that is going to be, I don't imagine you're going to think I've said, but quite an other one. Guy I really love watching is Ralph Fiennes.
Very good.
Interesting.
Very good.
An amazing actor, from doing stuff in like his early career, films like The English Patient and stuff like that, where he plays this heartthrob, really lovable character, but a really serious actor as well. But he's done things from like comedy. He can act in big blockbusters like Harry Potter and stuff like that. His portrayal in Red Dragon shows he's got a really artistic side as well.
In Bruges shows off his comedic side as well.
Absolutely. I think he's just across the board great.
In Bruges is fucking amazing. He's
absolutely.
He's only in that film for a fifth, if that.
Yeah,
he's barely
absolutely.
in it, and
You're an inanimate fucking object.
He steals every scene that he's in.
Yeah.
He's so. You take that back about my cunt kids.
and he's also so offset from the whole film. Like, I love In Bruges. It's one of my favourite movies.
Yeah.
And I think like the tone of it is so like underlying, that kind of like dry Irish comedy fit in with quite a darkness. And he just comes in like a fucking wrecking ball. He's not really, he doesn't really fit in the film at all. Yeah. And he just still pulls it off so well.
It's from the first phone call you hear in Bruges as well. The first phone call you hear with him where what's his
every third word is just fuck.
Brendan Gleeson is saying, I've got him here. He's like, does he really like it? Does he really like all the fairy tale?
You show him the swans.
You show him the swans. It's like, why does this crazy London gangster give a fuck about this fairy tale place? It's so weird.
He's talking to you about the fucking alcoves as well.
Bit of a weird one.
I think with Ralph Fiennes, it's one of those actors where if you look I'm going to say the word filmography so much during this episode, but just accept it.
It's all right.
The filmography of
Is that a real
Ray
word?
Fiennes. Yeah.
Do you just mean his career? Just say career.
Just his discography of films. If you, I like taking like two polar opposite films of an actor and kind of showing the range in which they have. And when I think of Ray Fiennes, I think of him in Grand Budapest Hotel, where he is just like, as you say, his comedic timing. Him in Grand Budapest Hotel, he never misses a beat in that movie. Like,
so good.
His connection with Wes Anderson's writing is so great. But then if you look at the other side of him as the most evil motherfucker in Schindler's List, where he is, you despise him, he is awful, he is disgusting, he's something you want to put your foot down on and just wait till the blood starts pouring out of his eyes. But it's like, I love that
he's
from
great.
an actor like him. Or if you look at him like Voldemort from Harry Potter and that stuff like that, it's just like he can take on so many roles. Whether
and he was great in Harry Potter as well. There's so many scenes in Harry Potter, and you're like, at least someone's acting here.
I got two things about Ray Fiennes. One, I thought he was Ralph Fiennes for so many years.
I remember being there the day you figured out it wasn't Ralph Fiennes.
It wasn't, it was Ray Fiennes. And number two, he's not Eddie Marsden. Eddie Marsden's? You know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, for years...
James Marsden from Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, Eddie Marsden. I honestly, for years, thought that Ray Fiennes was Eddie Marsden. I have no idea where I've done that, but at some point I got my wires all crossed up, and I just had the wrong human being in place of Ray Fiennes. Yeah, but I talk about him, like, yeah, no, Ray Fiennes was in that film. People go, no, he wasn't. I'd be like, yeah, he was. he was that bloke. I'd be like, that's not Ray Fiennes, mate. I was like, yeah, it fucking is. Shut up. And
I think that's another thing, talking about Kieran as well. I think Ray Fiennes has quite a similar career early days to like Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And you can really tell later on that Ray Fiennes has kept Kieran and Liam Neeson's clearly stopped.
Just getting a paycheck.
Yeah, and it's like that change. You can see the change of direction where it just becomes about money. And if anything, go back to Matthew McConaughey, he's done it in the right way. Like he's got his shit out of the way early doors, and then gone into serious films. Like other actors like Bradley Cooper, for instance, as well, had like quite a slow start, comedy-based career, and then he's gone into more serious roles as he matures. And maybe that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go on and Gav, number two.
Number two on my list is going to be one that we'll see how you react to it when I go for it. Is Tilda Swinton.
Yes, absolutely.
But
very close to being on my list.
The interesting thing about Tilda Swinton, I feel, is she's an actress you can never pin down to like a specific kind of, like this is where she fits in.
Tilda Swinton has spent her entire career just doing things that she thinks will be interesting. I think she hasn't given a fuck about the money. She hasn't given a fuck about she hasn't really given a fuck about anything. And she's just like, this role sounds fun, doesn't it? Yeah, I'll do it. Cool, whatever. I'm in.
Like, if you see her when she shows up in like Bong Joon-ho, who recently just won like Best Director for Parasite and stuff, has two previous movies, Snowpiercer and Okja. Yeah. Like she is, like in Snowpiercer, it's like she's unrecognizable. Like
it's mad
with the makeup,
with the northern accent,
and the voice. Yeah, it's like, and then you look at her in Okja, and she's just like a whole different human being. Yeah. And then if any of you saw the Suspiria remake that came out last year,
no,
she plays 3 different characters in that movie. One of them is an 83-year-old man.
I did not know it was her.
Like, generally, the film ended, and I was like, oh, that was weird. Like, Tilda Swinton played an 83-year-old man. And the film went, what? That was Tilda Swinton? I was like,
I just thought it was an old man.
And then she plays, like, this kind of massive blobule monster thing, and then she plays another one as well. I can't remember who the third character was. I think she just plays...
Just the dance teacher.
Just like the dance teacher. Like, it's mental. Like, I love that. Like, the director for that movie was just like, hey, I've got these couple of roles, and Tilda Swinton's like, okay, well, yeah, I'll do that one. It's like, which one? It's like, all 3. Yeah, I'll just have all 3. Like,
Eddie Murphy can do it.
But it's like, and then like, but she can also just do regular films. Like, she shows up in Doctor Strange, and she's just like, there she is, as whatever that character's called. Like
the ancient one.
The ancient one. That's the one. Like, she's just there as I guess the ancient one, but it's like
she's got a huge range as well, because she's done so much. Because she was the evil queen in Narnia as well, right?
Empress Jadis, yeah, she was.
Yeah, so she's done that. She was Gabriel in Constantine way back when, And she just seems to pop up in random. I think that's what I love about Tilda Swinton. You go and see something, and then all of a sudden Tilda Swinton's hogging half the screen and just being amazing. And you go, I didn't even know she was in this, but I'm happy. I'm happy.
And someone who's like you're saying, just pops up sometimes. She's not too egotistical about her work either. She's not like, I have to be the main character, I've got to be leading or supporting at least. Like, she's happy to be. She's like, oh, you're going to be in this film for 5 minutes. She's like, yeah, cool. And she's going to turn up for that 5 minutes and smash it. Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think it's just a situation, like we've said with many of these actors, is like, she just loves the work that she does, and she's not, like you say, she's not there for the ego boost. She's not there to be the name on the poster. It's like, oh, this character's interesting and I get to go to a really weird place with it. Yeah, I'll come along and do like 4 days on set for that.
She played David Bowie, didn't she?
Yeah,
she was going to.
She was going to be playing David Bowie in the biopic, but it's never came about.
Right, okay.
But if you ever watch a movie called A Bigger Splash, it's directed by, I want to say, Luca Guadagnino, who did like Call Me By Your Name and stuff like that. She kind of does that role in that movie.
Right, okay.
What, David Bowie?
Also, yeah.
Okay.
Also, Ray Fiennes is in it, and he's great in it as well.
My gran listens to this podcast, and she fucking hates Tilda Swinton, so I'm excited to see what she says about that.
So, number 2 for me, I've gone for Emily Blunt.
Interesting.
This is interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because wonderful actress, great range of movies, but I'm also deeply in love with Emily Blunt, and I want John Krasinski to get taken away so then I can be with her for the rest of my life.
That's definitely what will happen. And the minute her husband for quite a long time is taken away, she'll forget it immediately and run straight to a boy with a red face and a mustache.
Would you leave my red... Right, okay, you can attack my red face all you want, but don't you come at my tash. My tash is glorious.
But Emily Blunt is... I just think she's phenomenal. And you're right, Gav, you kind of said it nice and succinctly. She's got a crazy range. She's done sci-fi, Looper, Mary Poppins. She was in
Edge of
Tomorrow, Quiet Place. She's definitely kind of leaning into a certain brand, which seems to be kind of action sci-fi, but
which must be fun as hell.
Yeah, it must be, right? and then every now and then she pops up doing Mary Poppins Returns, where she's just obviously loved Mary Poppins as a kid and thought, I'll jump on that. I could probably
and has kids as well. It must be nice for your kids that your mum's going to be Mary Poppins,
right? How cool would that
would be class.
Like the interesting thing about Emily Blunt is she kind of went from your kind of Devil Wears Prada days, where she was like a side character that she wasn't the Anne Hathaway, she wasn't Glenn Close, she wasn't the big name, to now she's the name on the poster that's selling the movie, i.e. like Jungle Cruise was going to come out this year, but it's not been pushed back till 2021, or Mary Poppins, or even Edge of Tomorrow. She's front and centre on the poster with Tom Cruise.
Quiet Place 2 as well, man.
Quiet Place 2. It's just like she kind of, I don't know when that shift happened, but she's just become like a leading star of movies. And
I feel like she was in a bit of a race with that Rashida Jones for a while, and there was a moment where the two of them were kind of side by side, and then Rashida Jones went down the TV path, and Emily Blunt kind of just picked up on the movie path. Mm-hmm. It's two different kinds of things, but yeah, I remember when they were kind of neck and neck. But no, I just love her. I think she's great. And yeah, she's got range, from in Looper, where she's playing their protective mother and she's just looking after that little boy. And you can see she genuinely cares about that kid. And she must have spent, 2 months with him maximum filming that film? But it doesn't seem like that. It seems like she's raised that boy from nothing.
Same in Quiet Place as well. Those kids are all super, like a proper family.
And then you jump to things like Edge of Tomorrow, where she just plays a fucking badass.
She is a fucking powerhouse in that movie.
She's just crazy. Like it's awesome watching it.
The thing I love about Edge of Tomorrow is the flip of roles, which is you've got Tom Cruise, who's this kind of pacifist, weak, scared man who tries to like sneak his way out of situations, and Emily Blunt, who's this kind of powerhouse, takes on the aliens as the savior of the planet type of deal. In any other movie, those roles would be 100% flipped. Tom Cruise would be the big fucking hero of the world. And I just love that Emily Blunt takes on that role and just does it so effortlessly. Where you're just like, she shows up in that first scene. You're like, yep, I believe she is this person that
she will fuck Tom Cruise up. Edge of Tomorrow was so good. Can we just have a little chat about that? I fucking loved that film. I remember going to the cinema to see it and thinking, this is going to be shit. This is not going to be anything good.
This is going to be some like B movie kind of alien.
It's going to be
trash.
trying to be awesome and sci-fi and action, and it's just going to be guff. And it was... One, genuinely funny. That scene where Tom Cruise tries to roll under the truck and there's a little montage. Yes. And one of the times the truck wheels hit him and you just hear him squeal and then wake up back on the helicopter. Amazing. And then it just turned into this banging, sci-fi epic. Like, that film's so good. So good.
I have never seen it.
Oh, you need to change that.
Nah, I don't like sci-fi that much.
Trust me, you will like this. If you like Groundhog Day and you like a good bit of action, then 100% you'll love it.
Okay.
But the sad news about Edge of Tomorrow is the Ryan and Gary have lists that I'm convinced exist that are called movies that Gavin recommends, and then it just says don't watch under it. And those are those lists.
I don't put them on a list. I just don't. Why would I write them down?
So you make sure to never watch them. You never want to accidentally fall into a movie that
it's not going to happen, mate. Because I'm going to look at the poster and be like, "That looks like Gav recommended that." There's probably films you haven't recommended that I'm not watching because I think you might have.
I mean, so I love my friendship with both of you.
Guy and Ryan, number 3.
I was just
sorry, Gav. Apologies.
I was just going to say, Edge of Tomorrow 2 is not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Tom Cruise is currently booked to do the next 2 Mission Impossible movies back to back, and Emily Blunt's now just part of the Disney machine. So,
you know what would be great if they did Edge of Tomorrow 2, but they just totally kind of like Pacific Rim, where they got neither Tom Cruise nor Emily Blunt back in. Maybe Brendan Gleeson turns up. He's the only returning actor, and then the rest of the cast is just brand new. And they're just like, fuck it, whatever. It's a sequel, sci-fi sequel, classic. Like,
done.
I mean, they might do that, but the director of the original, Christopher McQuarrie, is also with Tom Cruise doing those 2 back-to-back Mission Impossible
Why
movies.
does Tom Cruise have to fucking ruin everything?
I know.
Yeah. So,
kind of right. Number 3.
Okay, next I've got a little different again. I'm going for Olivia Colman.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I very
Oscar
much
winning.
enjoy. Oscar winning now. She started off in British comedy. She was in Peep Show and stuff, which I love.
Right, so here's what I've learned is I have Star Trek, Gary has Muppets, and you have Peep Show. Because I don't
ever really mention it on the podcast.
That's not true.
Not on the podcast.
I listen back to these episodes a lot, and you mention Peep Show almost every episode.
That's not true.
Rashida Jones was in the Muppets movie.
Fuck off.
I'm just putting that one out there.
That is true.
Do you know who wasn't? Olivia Colman. So, so she started off in that kind of, again, I think just starting off that kind of comedy way and then coming more serious as her career's gone on. She was really amazing in Broadchurch with David Tennant.
Yes, holy fuck.
Like, so good. There's a scene in the second series, spoilers for Broadchurch, where she has to go to court because it's her husband who's killed the wee boy. And her little boy is, like, complaining about it. And like she just
Audio Boy just gave some great facial reactions there.
Just destroys this wee boy in this courtroom, this huge, like, really visceral, amazing argument, and it's just her shouting at her son, but it's so good. And then she was amazing, and like she's in loads of stuff. She's really good. She was probably the only good thing about Murder on the Orient Express. She was great in The Favourite as well.
Amazing. And I was trying to think when you said Olivia Colman there about feature films I've actually seen her in, and I think it's literally the Favourite. I can't think of anything else. I didn't see Murder on the Orient
Express. She's in
Express.
Hot Fuzz. Get a look at his arse.
Oh, of course she is. Yeah, she's good in Hot Fuzz.
Nothing like about a girl on girl action, eh, lads?
Yeah,
good comic.
But just a really amazing, and like if you ever watch any interviews or catch her on anything, she's just so humble as well. Like, really does not believe in any way that she deserves any of this, and she really does. And I think she's a Cambridge Footlights kind of background sort of thing. But yeah, I think she's really great.
We're going to smash the oinks.
I remember about the movie that I remember I saw it in. That kind of changed my whole outlook, because I'd only ever seen Olivia Colman in comedies like your kind of Channel 4 kind of sitcoms and whatnot.
Yeah, she was on the Channel 4 train for quite a long time, I think.
She really was, and and then I saw her in a movie called Tyrannosaur. If anyone's ever seen that movie, it's got your boy that you were mentioning earlier, Gary, who you thought was Ralph Fiennes for a long time.
Eddie Marsden.
Eddie Marsden's in it, and then it's also got Peter Mullen. If anyone, I can show you a picture of Peter Mullen if you don't know who Peter Mullen. Just like,
yeah, I know Peter Mullen.
Man,
the Scottish guy.
She just, yeah, she's in that movie, and she kind of plays a woman who's like lives in an abusive relationship and stuff, and then she meets Eddie Marsden, and she meets Peter Mullen's character, and he's not a good person, but he's a good person for her, and they kind of form this kind of friendship / relationship, and she's just fucking amazing in that film. And I just remember watching, it's like, oh, she's more than just a kind of bit character in a comedy. She is a genuinely brilliant actress.
Yeah.
And then you see her in The Favourite, where she's just, you've got three actresses who are amazing, all just
hitting off each other,
the same scene from each other.
Yeah,
like,
it's amazing.
Oh, and she got the Oscar for Best Supporting, and she so deserved it because she was just so brilliant.
My favourite film named after a dinosaur is Theodore Rex, which stars Whoopi Goldberg and a large animatronic T-Rex. And
I've seen this movie.
They're buddy cops. Gav, how good is Theodore Rex?
Gary, it's absolute dog trash.
It sounds bad.
It's amazing. It's so good. It's so good. Don't
I
let them
know,
trick you.
I just want to know what the producer had on Whoopi Goldberg to blackmail her into having to do that movie, because it must have been something bad.
Maybe
Theodore
she just had a fun
great.
year. She was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be a yes man this year. Let's do it."
It's great. It came off the back of Dinosaurs, I reckon. That was when it was probably like, you know, Barney was massive, the Dinosaurs TV show, Whoopi Goldberg was in her stride. Fuck it, Theodore Rex.
Done.
I mean, Jurassic Park did a lot of good, but it also did a lot of bad, because then it just made dinosaur movies. It's like the movie insert dinosaur just occurred for everything, i.e. a buddy cop movie with Whoopi Goldberg and a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, I mean, I think dinosaur films are not doing amazingly well. What Pixar's lowest grossing film, The Good Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur.
Which is a real shame, because that film's like good.
Better than Bolt.
Better than, well, that wasn't Pixar, was it?
I think so.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it was just Disney Animated Studios. But I mean, Good Dinosaur is definitely better than things like, I don't know, Cars 2, Cars 3, probably Cars 1.
Toy Story 2, 3, and 4.
Debatable. Debatable. Go on, Gav. Number.
No, I'm Gavin. I love Tom Hanks.
4? What are we on now? 3.
Next
3.
on my list, we are going to have. Hanks. That's not how I sound. We're going to have the big man. We're going to have the chief. We're going to have the leader of them all, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a great
the absolute
one.
Boy of boys, a man who, even if the movie is the worst movie ever made, Philip Seymour Hoffman still brings out a fucking brilliant performance from it. I can't think of a time. I've just got a picture of Peter Mullen on my phone now. I can't think of a time where I've not seen Philip Seymour Hoffman in something and not been like, you are the most charismatically engaging element of this film right now.
Even when he got near the end of his life with the Hunger Games films.
Yeah, he was still good in those.
Still great.
Still great in those. Still amazing. Yeah. And you're right. Everything he does is, you know, from... And he's another one that's got a solidly good range from, you know, just playing comedy, wacky characters like in Along Came Polly, The Big Lebowski, through to things where he's playing something far more astute and kind of screen holding.
Again, like I did with Ralph Fiennes earlier, where if you think of like Grand Budapest Hotel and Schindler's List, if you look at Philip Seymour Hoffman and think of him in The Big Lebowski, and then think of him in something like The Master, Paul Thomas Anderson movie, like completely different human beings. It's not even the same person doing the role. It's mental. And I think the movie for me that always stands out of Philip Seymour Hoffman just being the fucking boy of boys is Capote. If anyone's ever seen that, he transforms everything about him, from his body language to the intonation in his voice to like the sound of his voice to just the way he carries himself and how he exists within a scene. Because usually Philip Seymour Hoffman, he's a bigger guy. He usually stands quite out. But for the character that he was playing in that film, he's so small and kind of meek in the scene. It's I love him. And then of course, what do you call it? I forgot the name of the film. Paul Thomas Anderson film, Mark Wahlberg, where he plays a porn star.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, yes. Thank you, Audio Boy.
I got it.
Just like he said it off camera first.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, I wasn't in the microphone.
the audience will not know, and I will sound like the victor.
Yeah, just like him and Boogie Nights, and just
he's so good in Almost Famous as well.
He's just great. He's great in pretty much everything he does.
Yeah,
He's
true.
phenomenal. And funnily enough, that brings us into he's on my list, but I'm going to change these two around just because this works. Nice segue. Jeff Bridges, following on from Philip Seymour Hoffman. Jeff Bridges is another one. I seen him first in Big Lebowski years back, and very quickly fell into the Tron Legacy. Oh no,
Both
the original
Trons.
Tron. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, funnily enough, no. Big Lebowski was the first thing I seen him in, and then
Yeah, me too.
I think I seen Tron Legacy without seeing Tron, and then went back to Tron.
It makes no difference.
It really doesn't. But Jeff Bridges he's great, and same kind of thing. He a bit more kind of typecasty. He does a lot more of the kind of Jeff Bridges. Is he typecast? Actually, now I'm thinking about it. Not really. He did Crazy Heart. Was it Crazy Heart?
Crazy Heart,
Strings.
yeah.
Crazy Heart. Holy fuck, that film is phenomenal. And he just fucking delivers this stellar performance start to finish. And even in things like Iron Man, the first Iron Man film where he's playing Obadiah Stane, where that was the first Marvel film. You're up against, you're acting alongside Robert Downey Jr. and he just plays such a fucking great villain. Like, he's got so much menace in every scene that he appears in the first Iron Man movie,
Also looks so good bald and with a beard.
So good, bald
Strong
with a beard.
look.
So
you hear
good.
that, Ryan? Do you hear that?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be my look in a few years, I think.
But yeah, he's
let's make it a few days.
just
Maybe
a
a few
phenomenal
days.
actor, and I fucking love him. I could
The
do
thing with
Jeff Bridges.
The thing with Jeff Bridges is, I think movies like The Big Lebowski are where a lot of people will remember him from. Like, oh, that's the first time I saw him.
Yeah.
But Jeff Bridges has been around since the 50s.
Yeah.
He started when he was like 17 or something like that, and he's just been going ever since. And his career has had, because he's been around for so long, obviously it's had so many like highs and lows.
Highs and lows.
Because like in the 2000s, from 2005 to like 2015 maybe, he had a lot of fucking duds. Like,
There was a lot of
let's
dud
not forget-
films in those years, to be fair.
There were a lot of dud films in those years, but it's like if you look at like when he's in R.I.P.D. and stuff like that.
I will not let you slight his fucking performance in R.I.P.D.
No, I'm not slighting his performance. I'm coming at the movie.
Oh, the
He's
film
made
is
some
dope.
shit.
It's not a film that you'd say, oh yeah, that's definitely something Jeff Bridges would be in.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But he's fucking incredible in R.I.P.D. He's a joy to watch in that movie. I'd say go watch R.I.P.D. just to watch Jeff Bridges talking a fucking cowboy accent and eating fucking curry.
I'm also convinced that Jeff Bridges and Tom Hardy have the same dialect coach, because sometimes they seem to make the audience not understand what they're saying
On purpose.
Like True Grit. I've watched True Grit 2 or 3 times, and there are still genuine large areas of dialogue. I have no idea what Jeff Bridges is saying.
Indecipherable.
Because he just puts big fuck off marbles in his mouth and goes, and I'm like, cool, Jeff. No idea what you just said, but it sounded cool.
He's got that nice bass in your voice, so we don't really give a shit what you're saying. So
This is true. It's
he's
like,
amazing
you've got
in
a presence.
Arlington Road as well. Have you guys seen that film?
No,
Don't think I
actually.
have.
Oh, you'll both love it. It's really, really good. It's him and Andy Dufresne. That's not his real name. That's his name in Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins. Nice.
Yeah, it's really. You
I just
should
love
watch it. It's got one of the best twists of a film I think I've ever seen.
Arlington, what did you say?
Arlington Road. It's called. Gav, you
Arlington
will really,
Road.
really enjoy it.
I'll look into it. Ryan, go on. Give us another movie, buddy. I reckon we'll probably be able to get one more out each.
Oh no, because we have to do 2 more.
I don't think we can. I think we don't have time.
What if I go through the
have
last?
tons
I'll
of
do
time.
them really fast.
I'll
Why
do
don't-
mine super fast.
Go back to back then. Do your last 2 back to back.
Done.
Big finish from everybody.
Okay, first one is maybe going to annoy people, but hold off. Is Margot Robbie?
Okay, now,
growing on me.
I'm with Ryan 100% on this.
Yeah, I
one.
know you guys like her. I definitely, she is growing on me, 100%. Again, I think I spoke about this 3 weeks ago, where I just said, no, not for me. And more recently, I've kind of gone, she's a good actress. I need to stop being so painting my view of her.
From when you're watching even things like Wolf of Wall Street, that's such a huge casted films, and she's still just taking scenes like for herself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very specific reason she's taken quite a few scenes.
Why is that, Gavin?
Because she gets her kit off and people remember it.
Well, we'll just leave that there.
That's just me being honest there.
Okay, Gavin, we know it's you being honest, and we're not saying anything. We didn't prompt you into that. You brought that into yourself. We didn't bring you into the trap. If anything, you've just slammed a bear trap on your own face. And we'll just leave that for a wee second. And back on. Even in things like Harley Quinn, where the films are awful. Yeah, she's not bad in them, and she brings a good performance.
She's doing her role well. It's just a shame that role doesn't translate well to the live action screen.
Absolutely, yeah. She's doing it justice.
She's doing what she's meant to be doing. Yeah.
And I, Tonya, she's just a powerhouse. Like,
I read. I think it was an interview.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry. I was reading an interview recently where they were talking to both the directors, like I, Tonya and Bombshell, and these different directors and stuff, and both of them kind of independently spoke about the time, the effort, and the care that Margot Robbie brings to her performances. Like on Bombshell, she's literally just there on set every day, just asking questions, studying, trying to just get the best thing she can from it. And I don't know if any of you saw Bombshell, but obviously there's some quite...
I've seen Bombshell.
Like the uncomfortable scenes during that kind of stuff. Like she said, it was some of the worst time she's ever had in a film set, obviously, but she just kept wanting to do it until she got it right because she cared so much about the performance being kind of authentic and accurate. And
that was it for me. I think what I was going to say is I, Tonya, followed by Bombshell, which has kind of made me reevaluate. And then you're right, even with Harley Quinn, I think I was so blinders on, ready to hate that movie that once I got rid of that and was like, it's going to be crap. You know what? Margot Robbie's doing a good job. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like taking it not as the sum of all of its parts, but just the individual parts. She's bringing me round, guys. She's bringing me round.
And then my last one. Sorry, go for it, Phil.
She's also really good in Goodbye, Christopher Robin as well.
Yeah, she is actually. Very good.
The mental thing about Margot Robbie is she went from an actress who literally before Wolf of Wall Street was on either Neighbours or Home and Away to like a couple of years later, she is the leading name in movies.
Before Wolf of Wall Street, she was in About Time.
Well, that's true. She was in About Time. Oh god, I heard in About Time.
Right, Ryan.
My last one is my
on the list.
All-time favourite actor in the world is Stephen Graham.
Who's Stephen Graham?
Stephen Graham is the man.
Is from Liverpool.
Will I know Stephen Graham if I look at him?
He is in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. He's in Snatch.
I know who this is. Look at him. He's amazing.
Pirates
He's
Caribbean.
So good.
Coronation Street.
I think his TV performances shine through more. He's came up from being Combo in This Is England.
I was also going to say the role that made me aware of Stephen Graham was This Is England.
I think that was his first big deal role.
Mine was Snatch.
And he was in Snatch as well.
Snatch.
Yeah.
And then he's gone on to he's fucking great in The Irishman. He was amazing in Boardwalk Empire. He played young Al Capone just as he was coming up.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of scenes on the old YouTubes of him, and God, he's just a fucking powerhouse.
He's really method as well. Lots of stuff he just riffs himself. Yeah. He can scare you and sort of break your heart at the same time. And
I gotta say, I do really like him. I will. My one, not gripe, but my one comment will be that he's another one that's very, very kind of typecast into that hard gangster-esque role.
I thought that as well.
Nails.
Yeah. And then Shane Meadows did something last year. It was called The Virtues. He did it for Channel 4. It was a 4-parter. Right. And it was fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But he's so good in it and so tender and really vulnerable, and the complete opposite of his total gangster side, hard man side that he usually has. He brought it out and it was great.
We've also got to shout out his performance in the 2019 Hellboy movie where he voiced Kraugak.
Excellent.
It's a real. No, but yeah, Stephen Graham, he's just a person who's you look at his list of films or TV shows, the boy works. He's
a grafter.
He's in so much, and he's been in for so much for so long, and anytime I see his name on a poster, or I see in the credits before the movie starts, or he just appears on the screen, I'm always excited because I know whatever I'm going to get from it is going to be something that is memorable and great.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Gonna give your two last two of the bunch.
The two I'm going to hit. We're going to go for another guy who's just been around for a real long time and who just puts the work in, and that's Christian Bale. I think Christian Bale is an actor. He's like a lot of the actors we've talked about tonight. tonight, like it's the middle of the night. It's the morning.
It's 10 to 3 in the afternoon, guys.
He has an astonishing range where there's the obvious aspect of his career that people talk about, which is the body transformation he goes through.
Oh yeah, that's mad.
Machinist and Batman Begins and Vice, where it's like he goes all over the place. But it's the performances as well, where like I watched like it was undeservedly nominated, but it was still a good movie. Le Mans last year, where he's in that movie and he's got such a presence, and he's got a great comic relief kind of aspect to that movie. And then you look at him over in Vice, where he plays Dick Cheney, one of the most evil men to ever live. And then he was fucking Batman, or as a child star, he was in a Rising Sun, Steven Spielberg movie, and
he was also in the film adaptation of Treasure Island when he was really young. He played Jim Hawkins.
I mean, there was literally a movie on last night directed by Scott Cooper. It's called Out of the Furnace. It's him and Casey Affleck, and like he just what's the one where it's him and Mark Wahlberg, and he's
The Fighter
is a boxer. The Fighter, like him and the.
I thought you were going to say what's the one where Mark Wahlberg's a fighter. What's that film called?
But it's just like if you look at his IMDb list of films, every single time he just gives a performance that's so fucking different from the last, and he is one of those names where he's
a real method actor, and he might be one of the last ones. Really, one of the last great method actors we've kind of got in the up and coming.
He is what Jared Leto wants to be.
Yeah, 100%. Gav, I'm surprised you didn't mention Christian Bale's best movie.
Oh God, what?
Reign of Fire.
I mean, I didn't want to bring it up again. I already got one hit. But that's a great example of just like he can do those kind of schlocky like B-movie action films.
Yeah.
He still gives a great performance, or he can be in these Oscar-winning movies. And like you say, he is a method actor. I think of him the way I think of Joaquin Phoenix. It's just like these two actors. They are method. They commit to their roles, and they also don't really take part in this whole celebrity PR bullshit thing.
Apart from when Joaquin Phoenix cancelled his career for a fake documentary.
That's true. It's like Christian Bale, like you don't see him in his press junkets doing like funny like radio bits where he's spitting water on people and like they're playing games. It's like I'm here as an actor. Let's talk about my film, and then I'm going to go home and enjoy time
and
with
shout
my
at some
like
crew members.
The Terminator Salvation. That was like, oh, good for you.
He's a screen stealer, to be fair. Like even in the Fighter, like he's not the main character, but he's just.
I mean, he got nominated. Mark Wahlberg didn't.
So. He won as well, I think.
Yeah, and last up on my list is just an actor. Again, much like Christian Bale, been around for a long time since he was a kid, has such a diverse range, and always as an actor, I'm eager to see. And that's Jake Gyllenhaal. Thank you.
Doesn't exist.
Jake Gyllenhaal is just the number one boy. I love him. Any movie he's in, he's a heartthrob that I just want to cuddle and snuggle with. And he always just fucking gives a performance that is so intense.
Yeah, like, he's a good actor. Real good
very
actor.
True.
If you see him in like Denis Villeneuve's Enemy or Prisoners.
Fucking hell, he's so good in Prisoners.
Source Code. Source Code. He can do rom-coms like what do you call it? How I'm getting its name, the Donnie Darko, of just like
I think he was a little
sinister and weird,
a little underlooked until Source Code came out, and then people were like, "Shit!" Because I think he did like Brokeback Mountain, and then he had that weird period between Brokeback Mountain and Source Code where he was just like either not doing anything or what he was doing was not really getting recognised. And then he was in Source Code, and we were like, "Shit, remember that guy?"
Oh, Jarhead! What a fucking movie that is.
Yeah. It's like Sam Mendes's. I guess war movie, but it's not really a war movie. It's like an anti-war movie.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
And then you've got Roger Deakins like cinematography, and then you've got this performance from Jake Gyllenhaal that's so like all the time so intense you can't help but just need to stare at it and just.
He's got really good like intense eyes. They draw you in, man.
Yes, there's like a scene in Prisoners that I often like to think of as the perfect gif for losing your mind, which is he comes back to sit down at his desk and then he just trashes the shit out of his desk. That's, in fact, Nightcrawler. How have I not mentioned Nightcrawler?
Yeah. Where he's a great in Nocturnal Animals as well.
Oh, no, Colonel Animals. God, he's so good. I could just like. There's so many movies where I'm just
keep
like
going on about him.
He's even good in
yeah.
Spider-Man, to be honest, isn't he? Like
He was a fucking great villain.
he's
in
like gone
Spider-Man.
from a blockbuster
Oh,
to
yeah, he
being a
was. I
bad, like
forgot
a
about that,
sort of not a baddie, but not on the depths in which he's used to being a baddie. Like maybe just making it more shallow, but it was still amazing. It was he was very nearly on my list also.
And talking about Spider-Man, that brings me to my fourth actor,
Tobey
who's
Maguire.
also-
Tobey Maguire.
No, who's also in the MCU was the 10-year. Well, this link I had there.
Michael Keaton.
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yeah, he was also
Michael
nearly on
B.
my
Jordan.
list too.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of had a bit of a like a rocky start, just kind of busting out little films here and there, and it looked like he was going to go down the shitter when he did Fantastic Fan
Four Stack 4.
Oh, fuck off, man! But then he's completely turned it around, and now he's hitting these action movies. He's Killmonger in Black Panther. He's in Just Mercy, giving a fucking heartbreaking performance. He's just fucking nailing these roles left, right, and center. Now he was in and I think one of the earliest roles I believe I saw him in. I want to make sure I get this right.
Fruitvale Station?
Chronicle. I was going to say.
Oh yeah, Chronicle. Yeah.
Remember Chronicle?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking loved Chronicle, and it's one of those. I mean, I know you know me. I go on about sci-fi far too much, but I fucking loved that film, and he's just fucking great in that as well. He's just a great actor, and it's nice. He's in the pit of actors that we've got that are on the. Like, we're going to still get another 40 years, 50 years of acting out of him. Like,
a lot of good from this boy.
Him, John Boyega, Lakeith Stanfield. Like, there's a bunch. I'm trying to think of else. Daisy. What's her
Ridley?
name? Daisy Ridley? There's just like this new wave of actors that we're getting coming up that aren't the old boys. It's the fresh blood that we've been waiting for, and I'm just excited to see the next kind of 40 years worth of cinema we get with this group. But I'm happy Michael B. Jordan's in there. Like, he's phenomenal. Such an actor.
Yeah, I think with Michael B. Jordan, it's similar to what I said with Robin Williams earlier, where it's like there's just a genuineness to him.
Yeah.
Where you just believe what he's giving to you. My first introduction to him was when he linked up with Ryan Coogler and did Fruitvale Station, which is the true story of like a black teen who was shot by police and just that whole story. Then he went on to do Creed with Ryan Coogler and also Black Panther with Ryan Coogler. And I just think Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, if they keep doing movies together for like the rest of my life, I'll be happy. I'll genuinely be happy. Because like they've got a movie coming out, I want to say either next year or 2022 that the two of them are working together on again. And I'm just like, just give me it. Because Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, I mean, they gave us one of the best MCU villains ever in Killmonger.
If not the best MCU villain.
The best.
He's
like Thanos or Killmonger. I don't know. I'd go back and forth every time.
I mean, Thanos, you can try and pretend that he's he's sympathetic, but rather than killing half of the universe, he could have just created twice the amount of resources. So I'd say Killmonger's definitely fighting a better fight than Thanos, who is a crazy tyrant.
From his days in the Guineas.
When it comes to Michael B. Jordan, he's just a snack.
He's a good looking boy. And then my final actor, when we came up with these, he was genuinely the first one that popped into my head, so I thought I'd save him to a laugh. I fucking love this man. I would watch anything he's in. And same thing, great range, great kind of ability to do a bunch of different things. Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know he might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I just fucking love Sam Rockwell. The fact Moon, I think, was probably one of my favorite Sam Rockwell movies, where he's playing two roles, he's acting off of himself. You know what I mean? Like it's this great duality that he plays through to weird little films like Seven Psychopaths. Then you've got Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Iron Man 2, kind of keeping it in the MCU. Like, he's just done so much, and
Iron Man 2's a perfect example of Sam Rockwell's work, where it's like, you have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. It's his movie, all the scenes are Robert Downey Jr. But Sam Rockwell comes in for Iron Man 2, and he goes, I'm going to just have some of these scenes and take them from you.
Yeah.
And he steals so many fucking scenes in that movie.
Same in Jojo
great.
Rabbit and stuff as well. He's fucking amazing.
Jojo Rabbit, he's fucking phenomenal in that. Like, he's just a great actor, and he's heartfelt, he's funny, he's just got it. I fucking adore Sam Rockwell. I will happily sit down and watch anything he's in.
Again, doing the kind of duality of an actor. If you look at Sam Rockwell in The Green Mile, and then you look at Sam Rockwell in something like Jojo Rabbit, it's like it's two different people, because in Jojo Rabbit it's just like, yes, he's a Nazi, he's on the wrong side, he's a bad person, but there's a bit of humanity in there, and you kind of connect to it. And then you look at Green Mile.
In Jojo Rabbit especially, he's the
piece of shit.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit especially, he's the first grown-up adult really that you see that's disillusioned with the war. He's fallen off the wagon. He doesn't give a fuck. And then you're right, when you watch him in Green Mile, he's just a villain. He's a complete bastard.
Pure sinister awfulness.
Yeah,
and then he's
a
the middle
dark
ground
cloud.
of like Moon, where he's just like, he is your leading man. He is your. But I guess in Moon, because of the way that movie's structured, he both plays the protagonist and the antagonist. So it's kind of like, and he's able to do it so well.
I've met Moon. Can we just? Moon's a fucking phenomenal piece of cinema.
Moon is so good.
I remember the first time watching that, and then the moon buggy breaks down, and then he wakes up and he drives back to the. Or like the next, he wakes up again and he's like, oh, there's a moon buggy stuck out there, and he goes out there to collect it, brings himself back, and I just remember watching it going, wait, what the fuck's just happened? I'm so fucking confused. And then it explains it, and you get through it. And I like watching him play this mellowed out version of himself that spent 3 years in isolation and has learned zen and peace and how to not be an angry dickhead, and then the version of himself that they sent up there, who is a raging angry dickhead, getting angry at himself for being too metal. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a
it's good.
I fucking love Moon.
It's just the same. Duncan Jones hasn't done anything good since.
He did. What was the follow-on from Moon, starring Paul Rudd? Mute. Was that any good?
Awful. It pretty much says that like Paul Rudd plays a child molester in it, and the movie tries to say that that's an okay thing. It's
that Paul Rudd exists, or that child molesting's okay?
Both.
Oh, have we got any honourable mentions? I got 2.
I've got a few. Yeah.
I've got 11.
It took you so long to take 5 away from 16 there, Gavin. That was fucking ridiculous.
Dead quick. My 2 honourable mentions. Nicolas Cage. I couldn't put him on there in good heart. I fucking love Nicolas Cage, but he's done so much dog shit, and I don't think he actually cares that I couldn't put him on my favourite actors ever. And Nick Frost. I just fucking think he's one of the best comedic actors we've ever had. I think his timing and things is impeccable. It's a shame.
Minus the N-word and Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, which threw me off when I rewatched that.
Still a shocker.
Comes out of nowhere.
You never see it. Every time it happens, like, oh yeah, this happens. I'm like, re-edit the movie, guys. Do a director's cut. Will you just take out that one word?
Yeah, nothing else.
One little bit.
Yep.
They're my honourable mentions.
I've got a few. Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes.
Brie Larson. I know Gavin doesn't like her, but Gavin's wrong.
She's not a good actress.
She's a good actress.
She is, man. In like films like Room, she's good in Scott Pilgrim. She's great in Just Mercy. She's done bad films, but it doesn't make her a bad actress.
Short Term 12.
Oh yeah, Short Term 12. Oh yeah, fine. She's a good actress.
Exactly. And of course Oscar Isaacs as well, who I didn't get around to mention either. So.
Me and Gavin spoke about it though. What's the last thing Oscar Isaacs did that was worth talking about?
Yeah, he's kind of fallen off, really, hasn't he?
It was Ex Machina, I'm sure.
He's got the same agent as Idris Elba, and they need to definitely agent.
Again, Idris Elba was nearly on my list, but he just added too many things in like the last 5 years that I just couldn't add him on.
Are you telling me was it Between the Mountains or whatever that fucking movie was didn't win you over, where him and Kate Winslet just wander around in the fucking mountains for 20 hours?
But it came out at the same time as Arctic with what's his name,
Mads
Mikkelsen, which is the same film, but it's class, and he's in it on his own.
Yeah,
he doesn't talk to anyone.
Give us maximum 3.
I'm just going to blast through them.
Maximum 3.
Okay, I will choose. Mads Mikkelsen was on my list, so like him and Hannibal and stuff like that. Got to give him a respect. Also, Ryan Gosling. I fucking love Ryan Gosling. It's good. Look at him in like The Notebook or Blade Runner or fucking all those type of movies. And the last one I'm going to go for is just a guy who just deserves more love and more movies, and that's Michael Stuhlbarg. He played the dad in Call Me by Your Name. He was in Shape of Water. All these type of movies. He's just like one of those. Again,
amazing in Boardwalk Empire.
I'll take your word for it.
Fargo, absolutely great.
We've talked about
Fargo is really good in that.
So much.
Also, I just realised this here, Gary, but Ron Williams was also on my list. That I so there we go. But yeah, so those are just some of the 16 names I had.
That was our favourite actors. It was. I enjoyed that. That was good fun, lads.
That was fun.
Good us.
Yeah. I was in a really depressed isolation mood before that, and now I feel good.
You feeling a bit better?
I feel much better.
Ooh,
I mean,
I'm gonna go
what's
finish
funny
my
is
work.
when we used to record these podcasts in the same room together, we would end and go, I guess, well, that was another one done. But over video chat, we seem to have a ball of a time. We should have been doing this the entire time.
Yeah, I
never
don't
gonna
plan
see
to
you
ever come
fuckers
round
again.
to your flat ever again, Gav.
I think it's the fact that's depressing. It's the red couches. They sadden me.
I'm really happy
I
that
thought
I
it was
look like I've got the nicest flat in this video chat.
Fuck you.
I've got my branding behind me.
Yeah, Gary's just trying to sell himself fucking prostitute.
Yeah, but I've got Audio Boy and none of you have Audio Boy.
That's true. That's true. You win on
You
that
only
front.
have girlfriends and fiancés. Ooh.
Right, guys, that's it from us. We'll be back next week talking about Theodore Rex in its entirety. Thank you so much for listening. Gavin, if people want to get in touch with us, where can they go?
You want to jump on to the Twitter and search for @MeanderingPod. If you want us on Facebook or Instagram, search for Meandering Movie Podcast. If you want to send us an email with topic suggestions or thoughts on your favourite actors or anything like that, that's meanderingmoviepodcast@gmail.com. If you're on iTunes or you're on Spotify, scroll down. There are links to everything down there, including Gary, who is back to twitching again, and he's doing daily, if not weekly, quizzes.
Daily quizzes at the moment.
He's doing daily quizzes. So that's
every single night.
twitch.tv/Pixels Cafe.
Twitch.tv/Pixels Cafe. Every single night we'll start the stream about 7:30. The quiz starts at 8 o'clock. It's only an hour and 20 minutes worth of questions.
Just
nice
need pen and
short.
paper.
Need pen and paper, you can do it online. It's good fun. Come say hello, and we'll get some trivia on the pop. People
And you never
power.
know, your favourite podcast boys might be in the chat as well
might be
to
in the
say
chat.
hello. So yeah, that's us.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back next week. Have a great one and enjoy.
Music is life.
It's Meandering Movies, listening to Gary, Ryan, and Gavin. It's all about films, but goes off course. Will there be arguments? Of course, 'cause everyone knows their lives are dull and they have nothing else to talk about.